Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Take Care with Moom. Today we have Amy and Esther, who are the co-founders.
Yes.
One says yes very enthusiastically. The other one is
The
questioning
older
it.
sister says no. So sisters and sisters on the podcast today.
Yes.
For real.
Co-founders of Machino, which is the it girl shoe brand in Southeast Asia.
To be
probably.
honest, they do not need an introduction.
Yeah, we're gonna jump straight into
Okay.
it. But we usually start off talking about how we first met.
Oh,
And
okay.
Millie and I just completely blanked.
Like,
Okay.
where did we meet? Who introduced us?
Okay, I know. I
Okay,
think
go.
like I slided into either one of y'all's
DMs.
DM. Because I remember you guys had an event in Malaysia. I was like, oh my god, this is
Oh,
Singapore brand. Like, I want to
yes.
meet them. And I just like, let's just give them free shoes and just
They wanted to meet us. You heard it here first. Machino wanted to meet Moom.
And
we
we
were
felt the
like,
same
somebody
way.
is giving us something. I'm in shock right now. Someone knows who we are.
But I think what was pretty special actually at that moment, we were both sort of at the early stages of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
business.
yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
four of us were kind of in the same boat coming to Malaysia, being like, well, obviously you guys were already here, but like, how do we start a business here? How do we form a community of people that like don't have social media followings, are just like sisters and co-founders?
Yeah, yeah.
And the relationship kind of sprung from there. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
we're
Yeah.
very happy to be here.
I know. And thank you guys
Yes.
so much for being on the podcast. We're going to say this is your first
Thanks
podcast.
for having us as well.
I was actually just on a panel with Esther and Amy, which was super interesting. But I think, honestly, one of the things that I found most surprising and interesting was something you said, Esther. Fun fact, Esther registered the company, named Machino before even having an idea of what the company was.
The girl
Yeah.
knew what she wanted,
Yeah.
but not exactly.
Yeah.
I knew
She'd be like, let me chop
Which
something.
is
Yeah.
hilarious because I shared that with Maya. And when we started Moom, naming Moom was literally the very last thing we did. Like, we couldn't have pushed it off
okay.
further. We were like, this is too
Oh.
stressful. Can't do it. Can't do
We
it. Can't do it.
literally we found a
Oh my God.
manufacturer. We started formulating the supplements. We were like, okay, this is our launch strategy, and now we're like, shit, what do we name the company?
Oh, we are
We're
totally
the opposite. Like
Yes.
for us, we would come up with the product like name first and the collection, what we want to do. They'll be like, okay, so what kind of shoes do we design?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, that's
it's
how we
the
do it.
total
We have
opposite.
the vision of how the campaign looks like, and then the product like, okay,
Okay, what do
what's
you
the
do?
design?
Yeah.
So
Oh my
until
gosh.
today, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Until
That's
today.
so funny.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, can you just explain what Machino is, what like the essence of the name is? Obviously, everyone knows the
And
shoes
how you came up
now,
with it.
but yeah, like how and why did you decide to come up with it?
Okay, so I think a lot of people know that Machino actually stands for Malay, Chinese, Indian, and others. But there's a little bit more backstory to like how we design like the name and how we have like this kind of like wordplay. So I think when I had a opportunity to go Australia to do like a semester exchange with my friends and everything. So during the first session, like in the tutorial class, we
Yeah.
had to introduce ourselves, and a lot of people don't know where Malaysia is. So that was like, okay,
Yeah.
they know like Singapore, they know Thailand, but no one knows where Malaysia is, and it's just in the middle of both of these countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
slowly, and then our mom, she is she owns her own boutique for the past like 10-ish, 20 years, I would say. And what is her specialty is she does like clothings. So it's like traditional clothings, like Malay clothings, and like
Yeah,
she does like
custom made. Yeah,
cheongsam, sari, and all those as well. So I think with all these elements, it also makes sense for us to come up with like name that represents Malaysia.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
thought that it came from like coffee name because it sounds like cappuccino, or it sounds like
Oh.
Italian word. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
it's-
thought it was
yeah.
an Italian word.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people thought that
I
it's
thought it was a word in
Italian.
another language.
I think
Yeah.
I remember we met at Alila.
Yeah.
And we sat down over coffee and you told us this story.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is honestly so amazing. So you've come up with the name and
Yeah.
then you came up with the name first.
Yeah, the name first, and I don't even know what to sell.
And when was it like, okay, it's shoes, it's not clothes, it's not furniture, it's not, I
Yeah.
don't know,
It's
whatever.
not coffee.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
coffee.
it's not coffee, it's not clothes or like all the earrings. Because I think before, like few months before we secured the name, we actually went to China to source for items that we want to do in the future. So like I said, it was supposed to be like a side hustle thing. So we went to do like searching for clothes and everything. And fun fact, I wanted to sell winter clothing. in Malaysia.
In Malaysia.
And I actually registered the name for
It's
the
called
company.
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, and my dad was like, "Are you sure you want to sell winter clothing in Malaysia?"
like, "Girl."
I'm like, "If Universal Traveler can, why can't I?" Yeah, I was like, "It's
True,
a niche,
true.
it's a niche." And then suddenly pandemic happened, and then my dad was
We're like, we're not traveling anytime soon, yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
Mrs.
yeah.
Claus is
Yeah,
dead.
yeah, goodbye. Yeah. And then I think okay, back to why shoes. It's so coincidentally that when during the pandemic, when the restriction got lifted, so our grandparents came from Malacca to visit us, and because his sister was in KL, so we all like had a family gathering, and then my uncle, who I have never met before, he said like, "Oh, I own a shoe factory in Malaysia." We're like, "Oh, okay, interesting." So since we are also thinking something to do, so we just made a trip back to
Yeah.
him, like to his factory like 1 or 2 weeks later, and then we're like, "Oh, okay." So actually, when I was in the factory, I was like scouting because the type of shoes that he made is not the type that we want. So it's
Yeah.
more of like the older generation with like
Yeah.
a lot of art support, definitely the insole. And then suddenly I spotted one shoe. Like that shoe, it looks a bit young. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can do something.
Got
about it.
potential there.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
potential because legit, I was leaving already because I was thinking like, okay, this is not the type of shoes that I would want to sell. But I saw like that shoe, I was like, okay.
It was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a halo
Yeah,
moment
yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's so funny like hearing you say this because I mean we talked about this in our first podcast,
Yeah.
but really like how we started Moom as
Yeah.
well. And it's like a series of not necessarily lucky moments, but like aha moments
Yeah.
where you see something and like Millie got connected to a friend of a friend
Yeah.
that ended up being our manufacturer. And
Yeah.
it's like same thing. You're thinking of starting a business and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, my family owns a shoe
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just like
manufacturing
came
company.
to place.
Yeah.
Like we didn't actually plan it.
Yeah, it's like an interesting story. And I know you started Machino
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And we always get asked this question as well. Amy, I know you started off doing something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Like walk us through that and your decision to join Esther on like starting this with her and really like going full swing into Machino.
Yeah, I think it's I think that we already know we're gonna do this together because I mean we come up with like the brand name together. But that time I was still in my final year of uni, and I was like actually doing like 2 internships. Like I don't know why, I just felt that okay, I have to go out to experience, you know, the work, like corporate agency, everything. Because Esther is already into the business, I just felt that maybe I can bring some, you know, knowledge,
Yeah.
values, or even like experience that I can bring over into Machino, because definitely that is the end goal for like both of us.
Right.
Yeah. Then after that, I was just like working in like corporate, and I really had like mental breakdown every day. And then even like legit, like even when I was in the agency, because I have to deal with like, you know, influencers and clients, and
Yeah.
I was just okay to me, I just like, okay, I'm just an intern, but I don't mind to do all these things. But then it's like the pressure, yeah, just came on to me like a lot. And
Little did you know the pressure as an entrepreneur is like
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
to
try
be
to-
honest, I would rather be stressed in my
your own
own
company,
in my
yeah,
own
yeah.
company. Like I can pick the struggles myself.
Yeah.
Then after that, during my 2 months full-time job, I'm just actually doing the same thing. And then like I think that my bosses that time, like they don't really let me try
New things.
and
right.
I'm just like, but if I'm back here in Machino, I can just do whatever I want. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, bye. Like I'm sorry, I gotta go. Yeah, I just came back, and then just full force into Machino.
Machino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What has it been like working as sisters?
Because I think as sister founders, genuinely, it's the most asked question we have.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear like, your experience versus even maybe our experience.
Yeah.
Is it similar? Is it different? It's just interesting to know.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you want to. See what she says.
Yeah, you're like, who's gonna be the mean
Yeah.
one? Who's gonna be the nice one? Like,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
I think at the beginning, definitely there's a lot of like arguments because like I think for me, I think both of us were very strong opinionated. So the things that I want may not be the things that she wants as well. And then there's a lot of like arguments. Like I remember there was one time we were working in a condo and then
Oh my god, I was crying. I was like, why don't you let me go? Like, you know, like have a vacation. I just graduated. Like, I need my freedom. I don't want to come
And
back.
then I was like, stop crying. Like, is it so like why you want to cry?
crying.
Stop crying. What's it like?
Tough
does it
love from a
work?
sister.
Yeah,
Does it
For
work, right?
context to everyone listening, I am the younger sister, Maya here. Amy is the younger sister. Esther and Mili are older sisters.
Yes, and the energies are very
The
similar.
same.
okay.
Yeah.
Are we like the same?
Yeah, we're like, can we go on vacation? The older
We're like,
sisters,
yeah,
stop
like,
crying.
We need a break. And then they're just like, stop crying.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, get it together. We gotta go. Yeah. So yeah, I think at the beginning, definitely there's a lot of argument, and then I think there reaches a point where she is more like detail oriented. Then I'll be like, okay, I'll just let her do whatever she wants. So I became very flexible, but I think we came to a point where if I am very strong opinionated with one thing, then I think she will have to look at things from my POV as well. Because I think all this while there's a lot of times where I slowly got like very flexible and very just. In a way, it's like very chin chai lah. And then she'd be like, can you stop? Like, don't do that. Like, you have to be more, like more
Decisive.
Yeah, decisive.
Yeah.
I think it really is about finding a balance.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
And
feel like-
compromise.
Exactly.
together.
And we just had a little tour of their office, which is amazing. But I feel like now you do quite different roles,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
your roles are, if I'm not wrong, you are more on like the operations BD
Yeah.
side of things, and then you're more on like the marketing creative side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the perfect segue into not only our biggest question, but everyone's biggest question is like what Maya was saying, right? I think there are certain factors that contribute to success in every business. And we are just so curious as well. Machino, genuinely, your shoes are the most viral shoes I have seen in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
If I'm missing something, please let me know. But like they are everywhere. I think people have such a love for the brand, not only for the product, but for the brand in itself. And even the way that you hear people talk about Machino and talk about the two of you, and even from our experience, just knowing the two of you, everything is genuinely, it seems like everything fits so well and it's almost like a little too perfect. So what would you guys say in your opinion has been like, let's say the one factor for both of you, and it can be different, that has really contributed to the success and growth of Machino? And I mean, Maya and I always question this, like, how much of it do you think is timing or luck or like just, something in the universe, all the stars aligning? Because like we say this with Moom, right? We launched Moom peak COVID. Everybody cared about their health.
Yeah.
Like that definitely contributed to at least our start.
I think like we also started the business, in the midst of pandemic. But I think like during that 1 year of, lockdown and lifting up here and there, we really just take the time to like do the R&D to make sure that the shoes are perfect. Because like we're just stuck at home. Like we can't even wear shoes out. And then every day when I'm just taking the content, I'm
Supermarket
like,
content.
just grocery shopping, like I'm sick of it.
Supermarket content.
Supermarket content, like girl, that's the only place that we
Yeah.
are allowed to even go. And then I think that it was during the probably the last few lift of the pandemic. Esther was like, oh, let us just like make a rainbow color shoes, and then we just like add a flower in there. And then I'm just like, okay, sure, like let's just do it. Yeah. And then it was like quite a pivotal moment for us because like we didn't really expect that flower shoe to actually go viral.
Yeah.
But I think like what contributed to our success would probably be like engaging with our consumers. Yeah, because like for me, I mean, like I come from like agency, and then I know how like agency they treat KOLs like they're kings and queens. But I'm just thinking like, how about the customers? Because customers are the one that actually like pay for the money for the products, and they are the one that supported the brand. So for me, we just like, okay, let's just start a community. So yeah, we just like, okay, gather all these girls that have been like supporting us. Like it's actually like from customers turned into like influencers. And I think like it has been like the rise of like micro content creators, because they're just like so genuine, and then they're just like like so willing to do all this like love and shout out for us. And then one day when when we have enough marketing budget, we're just like, let's just like treat them a good meal and then just give them like free shoes, just to like celebrate them.
I think definitely at the start of the business, it's just both of us that handles like everything from A to Z. So I think learning from the bottom and knowing how to do everything to the dot, and then slowly letting people to lead and guiding them, that's very important. Because if I mean, I don't want to be the kind of leader that just like, just talk and just give direction.
Yeah.
But definitely when you are building a team, that definitely you need to know how to guide, need to know how to like lead and everything. But knowing how to do the task is very important as well.
Yeah.
So I think what definitely contributed to our success is we don't mind to go down to the ground and like understanding the problems.
Right. Like no task is too small.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to have like that kind of like a lot of like boundaries or barrier between like us and like the junior executive or like even interns or like even part-timers. So it's a lot of like, for example, if the retail is very busy and they really need our help, be like, okay, I'll just go and help. And for us, it's very important to understand what's going wrong, because we cannot be just sitting from the top and just be like, oh, why the sales are not improving?
Yeah.
Why the queue is so long? Why the serving time is so slow and all this kind of stuff. So it's very important to really understand like the problems itself by doing them. So I think that one definitely helped us a lot as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the stuff like even like operation flow, like even a lot of like the nitty-gritty small things kind of like evolve, like because we actually go down to the ground and like brainstorm together as well.
Okay, well,
So yeah.
there has been a lot of success, but obviously the flower
Yes.
is
The
the most
flower.
iconic
Dun, dun,
thing.
dun.
The Hana flower. Hana flower?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hana,
the
yes.
Hana is like the most iconic thing. I would love to hear just a little bit behind. It sounds like there wasn't much thought behind
Yeah.
it. It was kind of like a random kismet moment again.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear how that has become like your signature.
I think Esther can
okay,
go
so
for this.
I can insert. I'll send you guys some photos. Like actually, it was supposed to be 5 petal because like when I was like discussing like what kind of designs should we do and everything.
that Maya is like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
It is currently 6 petals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be 5 petal because that time we wanted to launch like a flower rainbow collection, like what Amy said. So we wanted from like red color until like the whole 7 all the colors lah.
Until purple.
Yeah, until purple. Yeah. And then I sent a photo of a flower icon to the manufacturer, which is my uncle. I was like, oh, can you help me to do this like flower?
Yeah.
And it was 5 petal. And then after that, he did it in 6 petal. Then I'd be like, okay lah, whatever lah. I'm again like,
That's where her chinchiness comes out.
chin
She's
chai,
like,
whatever.
just like do this and think about it later.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it 6? Like flower was supposed to be 5. I'm like, okay, never mind, I'll just do 6. And after that, he already cut and everything, and then he just stick it on like the shield. Be like, oh, okay, 6 okay, 6 Then we just do the mold, and after that, the rest.
Yeah,
is
like even when
history.
she was like trying to
Yeah.
figure out the size of it, she
I just-
takes like a 50-cent
50
Coin,
cent
and
coin.
you
yeah,
were
coin to
Yeah.
like just like
Just put it on my feet, and then after that, I think I found a flower keychain in the kitchen, and then I just put it on my feet as well. So here I'm gonna insert like I'll send you guys a photo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
wanna
so
see that.
random, but
Yeah.
so iconic.
Yeah. So
That's-
yeah.
That's
how it
not
is.
to move away from the Hana flower, but I
Yeah.
feel like a theme in your life has been this very like just go with the
Yeah.
flow, be
Yeah.
okay with
Yeah.
it. And we can speak a little bit more about this later, but in my opinion, and you guys are much younger than I am, I feel like because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because the two of you, this was like your first real job.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you're very young too, so it can't be, you didn't have that much experience
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
this either. Has allowed you to just been like, let's try it. You don't like overthink it. And I almost sometimes feel like having experience, whether it's having seen other people build brands or having, built a brand before this or having worked in corporate, there are so many SOPs in your head
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
limit you.
Yeah.
This is like, this is such a breath of fresh air. To me, like
Yeah.
nothing works in that format. Like I don't really understand how you're just like, looks right, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
I would be like, measure it, get every little
That's
centimeter
me.
correct.
That's
Yeah.
me.
That's
I
her,
feel
that's
like,
her.
even though I'm like in the, more creative, the marketing side, but when it comes to SOP, I'll like, okay, we need to do this like step 1, step 2, step 3. But for Esther, it's just like, let's just do it. Like, it doesn't have to be like perfect. Like, if
Just
it's
do it.
like,
Yeah.
if we always have to wait for the
I'm
perfect
like that,
timing.
and Millie's more
Yeah.
of an SOP person.
Oh, okay.
But
so we had to
it's
mix-
so
yeah.
interesting that like something that didn't require much thought at the beginning
Yeah.
became an iconic symbol of
Yeah.
Machino and has led to various copycats, which
Yeah.
we want to get into. I think like
Oh.
one thing that we have seen about your brand, obviously it is like unmistakable that like the Hana flower is a Machino
Yeah.
flower now. And I think
Yeah.
it's so cool that it's become so iconic for you guys. But you have had to deal with a lot of copycats.
Yeah.
And I want to know a little bit about how you've dealt with that, how it comes up, and sort of how you've changed your philosophy on it. Because we walked in today and another one came up, and we were just talking about this, but it seems like you really learned to deal with that. So how did the first instance come up, and how have you learned to deal with copycats?
Yeah, I think I just did not get my chill on. The moment I see it, I'm just like, let me just go on Instagram right now and just like, like
But
keyboard warrior.
I guess when the first one happened, when was that? Like, what year was that? How many years
Last
into
year.
Machino?
Last year. It's actually
January,
last year.
1 day before her birthday, by the way.
Yeah, and then another week happened also. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know,
Back
two
to back,
bombs sent
yeah.
to me.
So when it first happened, you decided to be a keyboard
Yeah,
warrior.
she had no chill.
Yeah,
she was
I
like
was
spamming like
like-
7, 8 like IG stories.
Yeah, legit. Because I'm just like, I think that, okay, copycats, it's gonna happen, it's bound to happen. But then the thing is like, this copycat is like, we are serving to the same market, and it's just disheartening to see it because
Yeah.
like we do our own original design, and then I mean, of course, maybe the company has like bigger budget and all, like they
Right.
have like more employees than us. Like, why do you want to do this to us? So I think like, I mean, of course, it gets emotional sometimes. So yeah, I just went out to rant it out on social media to lash it out.
And what like happened by you doing that, or like, I don't know, do they still have this shoe? Or?
I think it was
They
like,
had to dispose it.
Yeah,
so
they have to dispose
so we
it.
had to, go to like inquire so many like
Yeah.
law firms, ask our lawyer
Yeah.
here and there, issue legal letter here and there. It's a
Yeah.
lot of like taking up a
Wow.
lot of my time, and I hate paperwork so much, like
Same,
to the
oh my
core.
gosh.
I hate it to the core.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I take it as a lesson. So
Right.
I had to like prepare myself, because if it doesn't happen like last year, it would definitely happen like one
Exactly.
like 1 or 2
yeah,
years
anyhow,
later.
it would just happen.
Yeah, it'll still happen.
Yeah, I think like for Esther, she just like, okay, let me just settle the legal stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even though I was like ranting it on social media, a lot of like, our community that follows us,
Like,
they
step up.
went to the post
Yeah,
of
and
that
we're-
shoe, and then
ooh.
they're just like backing us up, and then like saying like tagging our name somewhere. I'm just like, okay. Then after that, like Esther was telling me, okay, don't post anymore because our
Yeah.
lawyer asked us, you know.
Just stop posting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just stop posting because I scared later, like, we
Defam
also
and all
get
this,
like
yeah.
sued and all. And then after that, like the following week, we have another one. And then I just like kept quiet.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like tagging us.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
So how many times has this copycat incident happened
Since the first
since
time.
the first time?
I think there's at least 3 brands,
Yeah.
3 to 4 brands
Yeah,
now.
3 to 4
3 to 4 different brands.
Yeah.
And may I ask, are they all Malaysian brands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that is
Wow.
crazy to me. Maya and I always say this: if you're gonna copy something, copy someone like very far away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we
Yeah.
all serve the same market. Why
I
would you
know.
copy
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make
We're all
sense.
trying our best out here.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
why do you
Why did you do this?
Yeah.
So you've had to take legal
Yeah.
action, and what has? I mean, I'm assuming the flower is like trademarked.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how you've been able to
Yeah.
take legal action.
Yeah.
So what has happened to the brands or to the campaigns or to the products that have then copied you, basically?
Yeah, I think for them, some of them that actually dispose it,
getting
like
comfy,
those.
sorry.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Like,
let's go.
getting
copy
all the
it.
tea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's get in this.
yeah. So, I think there are brands. I think some brands that actually dispose it less, like they promise. And I think there was one brand, the most recent one. It was so hard to reach out to them because we actually sent a formal letter via ourselves because like, okay, tips and tricks for everyone. You can actually just send it from yourself first before taking legal action, just to tell them that, okay, this is
Like,
a
we
warning
see
letter.
this,
Yeah,
yeah.
we see
Yeah.
this, we notice you. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do all these naughty things. We'll come and get you. So before we get the lawyer, yeah, because we actually sent that to their email, and then they didn't reply us for a week. And then so kind enough, we sent them another reminder email to that reminder
So
email
kind.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, but they didn't reply as well. So then we had to send them the legal
The
letter,
official
the
one, yeah.
official
Okay,
lawyer
okay.
letter. And then I think within 1 or 2 hours, they reverted back and they said they didn't even see our previous email. I was like, Nana, I
Yeah.
gave your same email address to the lawyer.
We
Yeah.
gave y'all a
Yeah,
chance.
we gave you
Something is up.
exactly. Yeah. But then I think they revert here and there. I think they wanted to drag some time just to sell off whatever stocks that they
Or
have.
like-
because they were
Right.
continuing
Exactly.
selling. Yeah.
And like figure out their plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that they say like to stop. But then I think the night before Chinese New Year, we saw that on TikTok they were selling 8 petals.
Yeah, 8
flower.
petals. No,
Yeah.
it was like 7 at first.
Seven.
And
or
it's
eight.
quite
keep
similar.
adding petals.
Then after that,
9 petals. A petal for you. A petal for you.
yeah, it was like 7 petals. And after that, 2 weeks later, they come up with an 8
8
petal
petal.
one. I think they're still selling the 8 petal one.
Oh
but
my
it
God.
looks not like a flower anymore.
Yeah.
So we're just, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
done.
pick and,
I'm done
pick
dealing
and
with you.
choose your battles,
Yeah.
honestly. But I do think that you know, like Amy, you said that you do take it personally.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that, you know, I mean, luckily or unluckily, our product's a little bit difficult to copy.
Yeah.
That being said, we have had like copycats in other manners, whether it's like our packaging or our something that we've posted online, whether it's like a social
Yeah.
media post or something like on our website, a style that we've done things in. And it's been very direct copies. And like we've taken that personally to be like, I mean, on one hand, people are like, oh, you should take it as a compliment because like imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
A
like,
lot.
really? We worked so hard
Yeah,
on that. And they just
exactly.
ripped it off.
Like, yes, I'm flattered, but please stop. Like,
Yes,
like, stop.
exactly. So I think because obviously this is a Moon podcast and we are a wellness business, I think that's such a great lead into the way that running a business and being a founder impacts your mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Esther, you were
And your
sharing
health in
and your
general.
health in general, right? And Esther, you were sharing that you were in therapy. Amy, you know, you were sharing how things have like really taken an emotional toll on you.
Yeah.
So I guess for you guys, what have been the hardest challenges within Machino that have impacted you personally? And I think it can be like the smallest thing, whether it's something with the team that gets you really down or I don't know, whatever, it's an issue like this. But is there anything in particular that has really impacted your mental health, and then how have you like dealt with it?
Yeah, I think like for me, I think it's like happening like last year onwards because I feel that of course like now the brand is like growing, and then you know I think like both of us we just have to buckle up because like you know when the sales goes up, like so it's my anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like how am I gonna manage like all this stuff that I'm gonna do, and then like nobody actually teaches us like you know to get like I don't know like hundreds, millions, or like you know your few 10,000s or 100,000. So it's just like how do I actually like juggle, and then like by looking at the numbers I'm like okay we always have to hit our next KPI, and then it's just like chasing numbers, and then it just felt so draining until the point where I'm just like telling Esther like okay
Millie and I are nodding at each other because this is Millie's biggest anxiety. Like having a goal is amazing, but I think for some people it can lead to more stress, right?
Yeah.
And selling more means you just have to keep improving.
Yeah.
And it's actually like to the outside, people are like, oh, selling out and selling more is amazing, but it actually adds so much more stress to different parts of the
stress
business.
and more costs and all these things. And then until one day I went to Esther, I'm like, how are we gonna, you know, achieve this KPI? And then she's like, chill, like even if we don't hit the KPI, no one's gonna kill you. Like chill. Yeah, that's where I know that okay.
We
like,
need an Esther in our lives. Like we all need an Esther is what I'm learning from this. But yeah, I do think that, you know, chasing those numbers, it also, in my opinion, like kind of takes away a lot of the fun of building a brand.
Yeah.
Because while yes, KPIs are super important, it is true. Like nobody is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Nothing's like nobody's going to die. Maya's always like, we're not running a hospital. Nobody's gonna die.
It's true though.
yeah,
Right?
it's true,
We're
it's
like
true. I have to
we're
keep it in my
selling
head.
supplements. You're selling shoes. Like no
Like
one's
all
walking
we're
around.
trying to do is like brighten someone's day.
Exactly,
truly, and
yeah.
I mean, we hope that we can continue to do it, right?
Yeah.
I think I was sharing that I was in therapy for like almost a year. I think because I was the one who keep like chasing, you know, KPI and everything. And I think Amy is the type of person who celebrates like milestones and this and that, which is very important.
I'm like, okay, we hit this milestone. Let's treat ourselves a little.
Yeah.
Then she's like, no, we need to achieve this one. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm always the one that chasing
Yeah.
that like leads to like, okay, if let's say today there's a issue arises, I'm the one to think about like the solution first. I don't like emotion doesn't even come to me at all, which is not good at all. Yeah. And then I think I was talking to my therapist, and she was saying like, okay, so what would happen if you don't like hit all these milestones? And I was thinking like, oh yeah, what would happen? Like nothing would happen.
The classic therapist
Yeah.
question is, what's the worst thing that could happen in this scenario? And
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah,
oh
I was
God,
like-
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I was the one who keep giving me myself this kind of like extra like all this unnecessary stress, and I have not been celebrating all my milestones, all the achievement that I've made, which kind of lead to like imposter syndrome as well. So and then I think one tip that she mentioned is you always have to like look back at what you have achieved. Like don't be the kind of person who is always like half cup empty. Yeah.
Glass
So-
half empty. You got to do glass half
yeah,
full.
yeah. So I think it's very important to find the right balance, because you cannot always be like, oh yay, like okay, 1 new follower, yay.
oh yeah, definitely not
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but it is
Yeah.
so important to celebrate those milestones,
Yeah.
to take the time for yourself,
Yeah.
to really recharge when you need to as a founder, because you're not clocking in days off.
Yeah.
You're just, it's
Your
part of your
brain-
everyday.
Yeah,
it's
your brain is
24/7 up
yeah,
here.
24/7.
Exactly.
There's no rest day.
Yeah.
And so with that,
Yes.
obviously this is a Moon podcast and we recommend everybody take care.
Yes.
But will you guys share what your favorite Moon products are?
And what your
And-
one non-negotiable to taking care is.
Oh, okay. I think my favorite Moom product would definitely be the debloat. I think it's the first one. Is that the first one that you guys
It
had?
was not the first. So we
Okay.
launched with our
Oh.
personalized, which is
Okay.
like the
Oh, yeah,
packs.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, our debloat digestive
Yes.
relief, that is,
Hot seller.
Yes.
yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
our
just
best
pop it.
seller.
Digestive relief capsules
Yeah.
now in
Yes.
Malaysia.
Yeah, I love
But
that. I
yay.
love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and-
I actually I like that too because I'm a huge foodie. So when I get stressed, I'll just eat my stress away. I mean, it's not healthy, but I try to control it. But other than that, I also taking the beauty pack. Yeah, because it's just helps out with
The
the
hair,
glowing skin.
yeah.
I have to look good in front of the camera. Marketing girl, content things like TikTok.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's just something that's very easy because when I do something, I just want something that is no brainer when it comes to health because I got so much
Yeah.
choices that I need to decide on work stuff. So
Yeah.
health wise, I just make it as simple as possible
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
decision fatigue.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what is both of your
One non-negotiable to taking care.
I think having enough water, to be honest,
Yeah.
that's very important because sometimes when you just sit at a desk, you don't drink enough water. So yeah, having enough water.
Yeah.
Like
That's a great
especially
one.
I know
warm
you
water.
gave us such a nice flask
I know.
with water on the
Yes.
side here as soon
Yeah.
as we walked in.
Yeah, I think it's just to maybe reconnect with your loved ones or anything because
Yeah.
for me I would say last time I just bottle up all my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I feel that okay, I already am facing this kind of stress. If I tell to another person, I will have to relieve that stress again.
Yeah.
So I just try to tell my partner about my day and all to just okay, whatever that happens at the office or at home, I just unleash all my emotions and just basically have a support system, someone that you can talk to.
Yeah.
And
I really
I
like
love
that.
that.
Rather
Yeah.
than bottling it all up and then exploding one
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
you do mini explosions
Yeah.
every day.
yeah, and it's not healthy.
Every day.
Two
Yeah.
mini explosions and many celebrations.
I know,
Yes.
exactly. Perfect. Well, thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so
Oh
much.
my
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
for
having
joining
us. This has been fun.
A fun
Yes.
yap session.
I know.